I've had many of my subscribers mention that every time they watch Fight Club, they pick up and find something new that they didn't catch the first time. I couldn't agree more. The last time I watched Fight Club, something that caught my eye was the narrator's haiku poem. Let's explore. By this point in the film, the narrator's starting to reject corporatism. He's smoking at work. His tie is crooked and loose. He's standoffish with his manager. He's got blood on his shirt. And he's starting to send out these very anti-corporate poems to all of his colleagues. Let's take a closer look at his haiku poem. The poem reads as follows. Worker bees can leave. Even drones can fly away. The queen is their slave. This is a call to action to help his colleagues understand that it's them, the employees, not the corporation, who ultimately holds the power. Take Amazon, for example. If every Amazon employee walked out and quit today, if the factory worker bees left, if the head office corporate drones flew away, then the corporate conglomerate that is Amazon, the metaphorical queen, would cease to exist. It could not function. These companies rely on us, and thus, they are our slave. People need to realize that it is we the people who hold the power. That's why these companies, media outlets, and governments do their best to divide us. They'll ramble on about things like race, politics, disparity, and other identity politics to keep us at odds with each other. If the populace is divided, we are easier to control. When people unite together, we can advance our best interests. This is exactly how unions were formed. The origins of modern unions can be traced back to 18th century Britain, where the Industrial Revolution drew masses of people into the cities to work for industrial companies. Prior to the Industrial Revolution, many people were mainly farmers. Consider the fact that a farmer works the land, raises animals, and grows crops, and thus sells his own product, and thus has control over his life and his work. The farmer was essentially a free enterprise entrepreneur. But in the case of these industrial workers, the workers were not selling a product they themselves produced, but rather sold their work as labor and took directions from employers, giving up part of their freedom and self-agency in the service of a master. Interestingly enough, as it relates back to the narrator's haiku, critics of this new industrial revolution predicament would call this type of employment wage slavery. Think about that. Wage slavery, suggesting that it's the employers who wield the power. Unlike free enterprise farmers, here workers had less control over their jobs, were just paid enough to get them by, and had little to no job security and virtually no job safety. It's in this context that modern unions began to emerge. People began to realize that independently, yes, they were wage slaves, but collectively, they had the power, as without all of them, the company could not function. Did you know that the first recorded strike in human history dates all the way back to 1,152 years before Christ in ancient Egypt? Now let's take it back to Fight Club. Consider that Project Mayhem is nothing more than a union of upset and unfulfilled people, frustrated with work and the consumer culture they inhabit. And Tyler Durden's ultimate goal is to eliminate the wage slave and reinstate this free enterprise, farming, primitive way of being. Thanks for watching this video. Let me know what you think about it down in the comments below, and I'll see you next time.